If you're an agency owner running ads and your calls are full of tire kickers who can't pay, it's not your targeting. It's not the algorithm. It's one thing, and I'll show you exactly how we fixed it to hit a 5x ROAS. So what I'll be talking about in this video is how to stop getting unqualified leads from ads and actually pull buyers who can pay. Now, before I move on, why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Leo. I've scaled 3 agencies past $50,000 a month, with one of them going all the way to $150K a month. And I've worked with over 100 agencies. I think at this point, probably 120, 150, helping them with ads and also consulting them on other bottlenecks that they might have. And with our current agency, which is a done with you, done for you agency for agencies, we are currently getting anywhere between a 3 to 5x ROAS on our ads on average every single month. 60% of all of the calls that we book are all qualified, and our ticket size is anywhere between 5 to 15K. And that's with a 20% close rate. Now, here's my promise. By the end of this video, I want you to leave with having a very, very clear solve and fix for the hardest problem with paid ads, which is lead quality. But once you solve that, scaling will become easy. And the mistake that I'm going to help you avoid is that most agencies who do run ads, they make the mistake of wanting cheaper leads and getting the cheapest acquisition costs that they can. But that's actually the wrong way of going about it. So I'm going to show you why that's the trap. Now, let's just start off with understanding why you're actually getting unqualified leads. The real cause is your messaging and your offer. It's not your targeting of the algorithm. And in terms of your messaging and your offer, reason for that is because your messaging is aimed at low-level prospects and your offer solves a beginner-level problem. Now keep in mind, the level of the problem equals the level of the buyer. You will always attract the level of the client whose problem you solve. For example, with my agency, an example of a low-level problem would be an agency owner saying, I need more leads, or they have a huge lead problem, which if I use that type of messaging, and I had that in my offer on my ads, I would be attracting broke and beginner prospects, broke and beginner agency owners, right? Now, an example of a high-level problem among agency owners, which I could target through my ads, which I do, which is predictable scale, margins, cash flow at scale, and it attracts real agency owners with money. So the key point here is that Meta is very good at finding the exact person that you are targeting based on the things that you mentioned in your ad, right? So you want to make sure that there's a specific type of problem, offer, and messaging, and maybe even keywords that you are using in your ads. And I'll mention this again. If your offer fixes a beginner problem, you will get beginner leads, which are most likely broke leads, because the lead quality is baked into the promise before anyone ever clicks. Now here is where 99% of you agency owners are making a mistake, because when you are attracting a bunch of unqualified leads with your ads, you think, okay, instead of increasing the quality or improving the quality of the leads, I'm just going to increase the volume and focus on acquiring leads at the cheapest cost possible. But that never actually solves the issue. Because the problem is that if you aim for the cheapest cost per lead or the cheapest cost per call, your calls become cheap too, because low quality can't pay. And the bigger problem that creates is that all of your focus on getting a cheaper cost per lead or cost per call or whatever is going to be sent back to Meta's Pixel, and that's what's going to condition it, because Meta's Pixel is solely designed to help you get more conversion events in your funnel for whatever you're optimizing for, whether it's leads, calls, whatever it is. It's going to help you get more of that. So if you're currently getting a super low cost per call and your lead quality is dog shit, that's what Meta's Pixel is going to focus on, because it doesn't account for all of the qualitative data, which is, the quality of the leads, what they're saying, who they are, their pain points, dreams, desires, goals, common objections, whatever that is. It doesn't know that. That's not what it's optimizing for. It's optimizing only for the cost per call, right? Because that's your focus. So you don't want to be doing that. And that's exactly why cheap leads aren't a win. You're literally just training your ad account to find you more broke people. So instead of fighting for cheaper leads, you need to engineer qualification into the ad and the funnel itself. So the first thing that you need to be doing with your ads is adding a revenue floor in your messaging. So for example, in my ads, I always say agency owners above 20K a month. So I always set the bar at 20K a month because that's the minimum revenue sort of level that my ICP needs to have to afford my services. Same thing with you. If you're targeting roofers, you probably want to be targeting only ones that are doing at least $500K to $1 million a year and above. Aside from the revenue call out, you also want to go after higher level problems, not beginner ones. So that's going to look like scale, margins, predictability, not just getting leads. For example, some of the copy in my ad goes, web design agency owners above 20K a month. I will help you book 3 to 5 calls a day without referrals, no networking, no cold DMs, just a predictable acquisition system that we install. Now, notice in that language, there's no beginner language. There's a clear revenue floor, and the offer is the qualification, because I am qualifying them not just on revenue, but I'm also qualifying them on the problems that they're experiencing, because they are currently only getting referrals, they are only going to networking events, and they're only sending cold DMs for their agency, meaning that they've already gotten clients, but they're only using those acquisition channels to get more, which is not going to help them scale further. So I know that about my ICP so clearly and so well that I'm able to tailor my messaging to that. And because they are sophisticated buyers, because they know that, oh, okay, this is the exact problem that I'm experiencing, and this is the solution that's going to get me there, we get better results with our ads. So the whole point with your ads is that your ads should filter people before they ever even book. The right ad repels the wrong buyer and pulls the right one in. But the ad copy and messaging is only half of it. The other half is what Meta is optimizing toward behind the scenes, which is most likely going to be your pixel and your funnel. Now, the next thing is going to be conditioning your pixel. And the funny thing is that most agency owners actually never touch this, and it's exactly why the quality on their funnel leaks. Now, for context, Meta was actually initially built for e-commerce, where the cheapest cost per result makes sense, right? Because you want to get a sale on your low ticket product as cheap as possible, as low as possible. But with high ticket, it is the exact opposite. The goal is just quality. It's not volume. So if you let Meta optimize the default way, it's going to chase the cheap results, meaning the low quality leads, right? And the fix is that you need to block low quality leads from ever even firing the Meta pixel in your funnel so that it doesn't learn to optimize for them. So what you need to do is condition your pixel to fire on the right event, meaning that it's only firing on qualified bookings or qualified leads, not just any opt-in or call booked. So for example, in my funnel, I have a 3-step process. I have an initial opt-in lead page form. I have a call page, like booking a call, and I have a third page, which is the thank you page after someone books in a call. My pixel is set in the thank you page because we're optimizing for schedules, meaning calls, right? So I don't care about the leads that come in from the opt-in page. And the way that we're able to condition the pixel on our ad account is that all of the leads that enter the opt-in lead form page initially will be qualified on revenue call out. Right? That's not where the pixel is set. They're just being qualified on revenue. If they're then able to pass that and get to the call page, that means that they're actually doing the revenue that we are looking for. Okay. And then that person books in, and that's exactly when Meta's pixel is being triggered and fired. So my ad account in that sense is only optimizing for qualified calls, because only qualified leads are being able to, redirect to the call page and then book in. So the whole point is that you're not just going to be writing the ads and the messaging and the copy. You actually need to teach Meta who a good lead is. It needs to learn. And if you feed it junk, it's going to find you more junk. So now that your ad and your pixel are pulling in the right people, how do you keep making the ads sharper? It's going to be your sales calls. Now, in my opinion, your sales calls are your best creative director, and it's literally just a gold mine of data, because that's exactly all of the market data, and your market literally telling you what they want, their common objections, their fears, their pain points, their desires. So you need to leverage that and remarket that in your campaigns. This is exactly what my team does for our ads and our clients' ads, because we always use the call data and relay it into our new ad copy. Now where you need to pull this from is going to be your sales team, or if you close yourself, your own call recordings and your setters triaging calls. And like I mentioned earlier, every objection and hesitation on a call equals 100 prospects feeling the same thing, which is a gap in your marketing. So you turn that into the next ad angle. And the beauty of this is that the call reveals the objection, the new ad copy pre-handles it, and the next batch of leads shows up already past that objection. So they're not going to have that objection anymore on your calls. So what this will allow you to do is to stop guessing as to what you need to put into your ads. And I'll be so honest, I speak to so many of you agency owners who just guess and guess and guess, and they think that this ad angle is going to work, and they think that this ad angle is going to work, and they never have actual data behind that. They just guess, okay, I think that this angle is going to work super well, it's going to cook, but it never does, right? The exact words are already sitting in your call recordings. So just leverage that. That's all of the market data that you need to win in your industry. Now, aside from just remarketing the objections in your ads and trying to pre-handle that there, you also need to pre-handle that in your funnel. Now, first things first, before we jump into what that funnel looks like, the whole goal is to qualify and warm up your prospects before the call even happens so that they can show up ready to buy. Okay, I don't want you to be doing a 2 to 5 call closing process. It's just going to take too much of your time. You shouldn't be doing that, okay? Now, the first thing you need to make sure that you have in a funnel that pre-handles all of your objections is by building a thank you page with FAQ videos. You need to have like tons and tons and tons of FAQ videos with basically everything that you hear in your sales calls, all of the common questions, and then answering all of that in the funnel so that they already know that going into the call. And the results that we've seen is that leads who actually watch the thank you page videos are 3 times more likely to close on the first call. Now, aside from just some thank you page videos, you also need to have case studies in your funnel, but they need to be framed as super high level so that your prospect knows that you're not just going to be another company that says, oh, we'll book you 10 estimates in the next 30 days. Like, that messaging is already outdated. Everyone does that. No one's going to buy into that because everyone does the same thing. You're not going to be standing out to that prospect. So what we recommend is framing your case studies as super high level and then presenting that in your funnel. For example, in our funnel, I'm not talking about 10 clients in 5 minutes. No, I talk about one of my clients that actually exited their agency as a result of working with us, not just another client signed. And for us, this attracts a very, very high level of buyer, and it reassures them before the call with me because they're like, oh, okay, like I've never seen, a guy help an agency exit. Right? So as a result of that, they come to the calls being like, oh, okay, he's the expert, he's the professional, I'm going to listen to him, right? And then they end up wanting to buy because I can guide them into the right decision. I'm not going to hard sell them. I'm just going to guide them into it. And as I mentioned earlier, the whole point behind all of this is that by the time a qualified lead actually gets to the call, every objection on their end has already been answered. The call is more so just logistics. It's only going to be covering how it works, how much, and when we start. So, based on everything that we've covered, let's put it all together. To recap, all of your unqualified leads come from a low-level offer and messaging, not bad targeting. You need to stop chasing cheap leads. It trains your pixel toward junk. So stop optimizing for the cheapest cost per lead or cost per call. Qualify in your ads by adding a revenue call out and calling out higher level problems. Condition your pixel so that Meta optimizes for quality, not just cheap leads. Feed your ad copy from call data and pre-handle all of your objections on the thank you page and your case studies. Now, if you can do this and implement all of these things that I've just told you, you can literally make sure that 60% of all of your calls are qualified and that you get a 3 to 5x ROAS on your ads every single month. Now, if you're an agency owner over 20K a month running ads, but drowning in unqualified calls that we just spoke about in this video, and everything that I mentioned so far resonates with you and you want to solve it, but there's 3 things that might be coming up. Number 1 is you don't have the time to solve this. Number 2, you might not have the skill to solve this, or you want me to solve it for you, or you want to solve it with me so that you can learn as well. Then feel free to book in a call. In the description of this video, I've provided a link, or you can just follow me on my Instagram and then DM me the word operator and I'll respond to you. And yeah, we'll have a call, we'll talk, and I just want to hear a little bit more about the agency, see if we might be able to help. And yeah, if we can, awesome. But if we can't, then absolutely no worries. I'll still do my best to just provide as much value as I can. So yeah, no hard closing here. I just want to see if I can help. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments of this video. Give me a like, subscribe guys, please. I'm trying to make more of these videos, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks.